Admiral Zethkri had commanded fleets across 17 star systems, conquered worlds that had stood unconquered for millennia, and earned fear from species whose names translated roughly to the unconquerable ones. Yet as he stared at the tactical display showing the human vessel Defiant trapped in the Kepler 442 asteroid field, his forearms trembled with something he hadn't felt in decades: doubt. "Admiral," his tactical officer chittered, mandibles clicking with excitement. "The human ship has nowhere to run. Their engines are damaged, weapons at 30%, and they're surrounded by our entire battle group. We have them." Zethkri's compound eyes focused on the small Earth vessel, barely a tenth the size of his flagship. The Defiant was a freight hauler that had been pressed into military service, outdated, outgunned, and now apparently doomed. By all tactical assessments, this should have been over before it began. "Sir," the tactical officer pressed, "shall I give the order to fire?" The Admiral's mind drifted to a conversation he'd had years ago with General Thrakesh of the Hegemony, after the disastrous Battle of Proxima Centauri. The grizzled veteran had pulled him aside, his scarred carapace telling stories of 1,000 conflicts. "Learn this, young Admiral," Thrakesh had wheezed through his damaged respirator. "I've fought the crystalline hive minds, faced the void. Wraiths even stood against the infinite swarm, but humans never corner a human, Zethkri. When they have nothing left to lose, they become something else entirely." At the time, Zethkri had dismissed it as the ramblings of an old soldier haunted by a single defeat. Now, watching the human ship's energy, signatures spike in impossible patterns, he wondered if he should have listened more carefully. "Admiral," his communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel." "Put it through." The main screen flickered, revealing a human female with graying hair and eyes like chips of ice. Captain Sarah Chen looked exactly like what she was, a cargo hauler pressed into service out of her depth and surrounded by enemies. But those eyes. "This is Captain Chen of the Earth vessel Defiant," she said, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "I'm transmitting our surrender terms." Surrender terms? Zethkri's translator must have malfunctioned. "Captain Chen, you are surrounded and outgunned 50-1. You are in no position to dictate terms." Chen smiled, and something in that expression made Zethkri's blood run cold. "Admiral, are you familiar with human history?" "I fail to see the relevance. There was a place called the Alamo," Chen continued, as if he hadn't spoken. 189 defenders against thousands. They all died, but they took so many enemies with them that it inspired an entire revolution." She leaned forward. "Then there was Thermopylae, 300 Spartans against the entire Persian Empire. They knew they would die, but they chose. How?" On his tactical display, Zethkri watched in growing alarm as the human ship's reactor readings climbed toward dangerous levels. "Captain, what are you doing?" "What humans do when cornered, Admiral. We decide that if we're going down, we're taking you with us." Chen's fingers danced over her console. "You see, this little cargo hauler is carrying something special. 73 tons of antimatter fuel, enough to crack a moon. My engineer has bypassed every safety system we have." The tactical officer's voice rose to a panicked shriek. "Admiral, the human ship's reactor is going critical. At this range, the explosion will destroy your entire battle group," Chen finished calmly. "But here's the thing, Admiral. We don't want to die today, so I'm offering you a deal. Withdraw. Your ship's beyond the asteroid field's edge, and we'll stand down." Zethkri felt his career, his reputation, his very identity as a conqueror crumbling. "You're bluffing. No species commits suicide over a single cargo ship." "Aren't we?" Chen's smile widened. "Admiral, what did you call us in your intelligence? Reports? Barely spacefaring primitives. Emotional and irrational. Prone to self-destructive behavior. Congratulations, you were right." The bridge fell silent except for the ominous whine of the human ship's overloading systems. Zethkri had commanded for 50 years, won battles against impossible odds, earned his rank through cunning and strategic brilliance. But faced with an enemy willing to embrace mutually assured destruction over a mere cargo run, all his experience meant nothing. "Sir," whispered his tactical officer, "what are your orders?" Zethkri stared at the human captain's face, seeing something that chilled him to his core: absolute certainty. This wasn't a bluff. This wasn't desperation. This was simply what humans did when pushed too far. "All ships," he commanded, his voice heavy with defeat. "Withdraw beyond the asteroid field. Maintain safe distance." As his fleet pulled back, Zethkri watched the human ship's energy readings slowly return to normal. Captain Chen nodded respectfully on the screen. "Pleasure doing business with you, Admiral. The cargo ship Defiant will be leaving now. I suggest you don't follow us." The transmission cut, leaving Zethkri alone with his thoughts and his humiliation. A single human cargo hauler had just forced an entire battle group to retreat, not through superior firepower or tactical genius, but through sheer, incomprehensible willingness to die rather than surrender. Later, in his personal logs, Admiral Zethkri would write, "General Thrakesh was right. When cornered, humans don't become desperate, they become dangerous. They transform from prey into something else entirely, something willing to destroy everything rather than accept defeat. Today I learned why every alien general has one rule: never corner a human. Because when you do, you discover that sometimes the only way to win against a human is not to fight them at all." In the depths of space, the Defiant limped toward Earth, carrying its cargo and a crew who had just reminded the galaxy why humanity, despite being newcomers to the cosmic stage, was already earning a reputation that would echo across the stars for generations to come.